Motherhood is the biggest gamble in the world. It is the glorious life force. It's huge and scary. It's an act of infinite optimism. That's by Gilda Radner. Right? Alright, just in case you've not figured out what we'll be talking about today.
How?
We're talking about motherhood, right? Everything in between, what it feels like to be a mom, a new mom, a millennial mom, the lifestyle changes that you have to go through. So, with me, I'm sure you guys have seen her already, but those that are just listening to us, with me here is, okay, y'all used to know her as Brown, but this is Brown 2.0. Join me, Hivers, and give my guest, my contributor for today, a warm. What are you doing? A warm Ladies Hive welcome. Introducing O.F.A.
Hiya! Hi guys. Yeah, used to be Brown, now O.F.A. Was still Brown. Brown O.F.A.
Okay, you need to make up your mind.
I beg and both. I beg.
And for those of you that don't know, we are friends. Yeah, we've been friends for a while. Yeah, so some of might have some inside jokes on this episode. Maybe not. If you want in on it,
So
just say.
don't get confused like how.
So yeah, and recently she became a new mom. All right. So let's talk about being a new mom. First off, I know that I'm privy to the fact that you got pregnant with your baby just a couple of months after you got married. That must have been difficult to settle into.
Boy. Okay, so let me put out there that I'm really not a fan of change. I like things being the way they are. Like, this is what I know, the familiar. Let's get on with it like that. And then, for those of you that know, some people that know me personally and you're listening to this episode, you know that my dating and courtship was a very fast one. It was all within the space of a year. So that was fast in itself already. And then when I got married, and the next day, boom, I was pregnant. I remember one day telling my husband that, guy, you didn't even allow me to settle down before you. Like, what is. And we're just laughing about it. But really, was a huge thing to settle into. I remember that even the day we found out we were pregnant, I remember clearly my husband was so much excited than I was. Not that I wasn't, but it was all like in my head, it was as if it was happening to somebody else. And I was looking in from outside. And I was like, pregnant already now? Like, duh, you were having SDX, so of course you could be pregnant. So it was a very major thing to settle into. But then as time went by, of course, I settled into it, and then
I knew you read a couple of books as well. People read books and listen to, but is there anything that prepares you for that point when you give birth?
I'll say yes to an extent, but then the truth of the matter is nothing totally prepares you for something that you've never experienced before. But even if you've experienced it before, there are different ways to feel some particular feeling or a particular feeling.
Yeah.
So the fact that you've been pregnant before does not mean that your next pregnancy will feel the exact same way the first one was.
Yeah.
But for new moms, there are books that I read. I listened to some life experiences too. My sister. My sister, my mom, some older friends, cousins, aunts, of course so to an extent, I kind of knew what to expect. But of course, it was not the same when my daughter arrived. It wasn't, and me, it was not. So it kind of prepares you in the sense that you're not going in totally blind. You kind of have a semblance of the shadow of the caricature of what it could be like. Yes. So when it eventually comes, at least there's a sense of familiarity. Okay, maybe, or it looks like it's not you're just totally bewildered. Like, what is this? I don't understand anything going on. No. Some sort of recognition, familiarity is there. So yeah, to an extent, yeah.
Okay. What would you say was the most difficult part of being pregnant?
I just remember we're here for this question because pregnancy, boy. Honestly, I don't even know. Okay, let me not say that because labor is a whole different ballgame on its own. You see, pregnancy for me. I remember the day we found out we were pregnant. I told my husband because we've been suspecting, but he was kind of sure. I mean, the days we say I knew, but I'm like, I knew. It's like, let's take the test, and then we confirmed it. I remember that day I told him that now that my mind knows, that now that my mind has caught up with that fact, my body will change. I knew it automatically. And I remember that from that day, I started feeling pregnant. I don't know how to explain it. I started feeling like I would, and I think it's a function of the fact that my mind has soaked in all kinds of information from books, from movies, that this is the way pregnant women behave, this is the way they feel. So automatically it was as if I was now engineering my body to feel that way.
Oh,
do you get?
Right.
So it wasn't as if it was like this is where they ought to. So my mind was ready.
Your body should feel. Oh, I see.
Pregnancy was wonderful. I mean, there are days when I look at my daughter now and I just smile like when you were my tummy, you showed me. The first trimester, we found out almost at the end of the first trimester. So for like the first 2 weeks after we found out, it was still easy breezy. I ate well. I still went to the office. I was good. It was like close to the end of the first trimester. I'll get to the office and then I'll be laying down on the floor. Yeah.
In the office?
I'm telling you, I'll just push my chair back and say, I'm tired. And then my colleagues will be teasing me, are you pregnant? So when the teasing got so much, I'm like, I don't want this. So let me just stay at home, And then we passed that stage to the stage where I could not keep anything down. In fact, the sight of water would cause me to puke.
Yeah, I heard this part.
Nothing stayed in my stomach. Nothing. Like everything was smelling. Everything had a smell. Clothes, fan, books, everything had smell. My husband could not use any kind of deodorant or what's it called now?
Wow.
In the room or even
perfume.
Nothing. He was gonna spray it outside. And then when it comes back in the night, we don't walk.
So you don't get away from.
I'll baptize him with whatever I did that,
Wow.
I couldn't keep anything down. And then it got to the part where I could not sleep. What was that thing called? Insomnia rather. I couldn't sleep. There were days when I had heartburn. There were days when I had constipation. I wasn't eating anything, but then I couldn't poop. See, let's not. It was a journey. But thank God I ended in praise and enjoying. Yeah. It was a journey. And this part, my right leg, just close to the end of the third trimester, when I was about to put to bed, I was told that our weight was resting on my right leg. I couldn't, as I was walking like this. No, I wasn't waddling. It's not your common pregnant man waddling. I was really limping, like I was in serious pain. And they just kept telling me that don't worry, when you put to bed, it's the weight, it will relieve you. There's nothing anybody could do. Really.
Because we hear crazy stories of. I literally saw something online recently where I can't remember who created it. maybe on Diary of a Nigerian Girl, and women were sharing stories of their pregnancy. So you'll be hearing things that they lost. Some people lost sense of taste. Some people who lost. A woman actually said she lost her sight.
What?
Like towards, I think in the third trimester, and then after the baby was born, for like maybe the first 6 months, she could not see in one eye. Some people lost it. Some people lost hearing. One said she lost her hearing, and then she didn't get it back until the baby was almost 3. Yeah. Yeah, we hear bizarre stories. I'm like,
those are really
this
something.
happens.
I don't know. I lost a lot of weight. A lot of weight. But I remember there was a time when my mom had not seen me in like a month plus, and then we're going to get some baby things that my husband, my mom, and I. So we're to meet up with her at Odrota. I remember we got down from the bus and we were walking towards her, and then we got into her, and then she was asking my husband, "Yeah, who are that?" That's like, "Where's your wife?" I'm like, "Mommy." She was later telling me that she was almost crying. Like, how? What happened? Like, I was so lean. I was so.
Yeah.
Wow.
What? I don't know.
Well.
I mean, because for some other women, reverse is the case. They gain so much weight. But did you feel some type of way with your weight loss?
I'm happy. I remember when I was telling my brother, I told my brother, I said, the weight loss, I don't they try, they lose.
Now it don't come.
I don't need to stay after that. But serious now. Baba.
Oh my days. Okay, so let's move towards the due date of the. Did you have to do any special? Aside to know from, I know you packed bag like weeks and months before.
Because we had a what's it called now? Would I call it a preamble or a scare? We had gone to the hospital like, oh, we're in labor. And then we went back home that day with our bags. You're not in labor. Go
and you just kept the bags in one corner.
Yeah, so then we were ready to get into the hospital just in time. And the funny part is, on the day that we now gave birth, that we went to let me carry back. We just went like, oh, let's just go.
And they told you that
you're not going
Madam, you're not going back. Okay, so aside from packing bags, now for your body, did you do any special prep, like maybe shaving your VJJ or yes, show you that part.
Okay, my husband kept saying, "Oh, we should," like before the date. But thankfully, I think like maybe 3 weeks before I put to bed, I'd had a shave.
Oh, okay.
So it wasn't as looking for. I don't understand what happened.
No, I think you're just exaggerating.
But then I remember that I got a shave in the hospital. A nurse shaved me because
okay.
I had a procedure, not the what's it called now? Not the vaginal birth.
Yeah.
So yeah, a nurse shaved me.
Okay.
But I remember another body preparation that I ought to have done that I didn't do was let my husband. This is quite funny because at the point when after I gave birth, now I was supposed to be breastfeeding my child. The nurse said, "You did not allow your husband. You did not allow him to pull your nipple. Eh? You did not give him your breast to pull your nipple."
What? No, wait, hold on. I don't know. Is that a thing?
Well, apparently, like you're supposed to let him suckle on the breast too. And for some women, their sex drive plummets. Like you don't even want to hear. And for some, it's like they want to keep doing it. For me, he just be looking at me from that far. So it wasn't. So I was supposed to have let him, do that, so that the nipple will not get inverted, and it will be easy for the baby to latch on to feed. Yes.
Oh, is that what happened?
Yes.
When
that helps. It helps.
Really?
Yes, it does help.
Okay. I hope you all are taking notes. Anyway, this podcast will be there for you to always refer to. Okay, so now that we touched on it, so it means that your sex life now as a couple, it was affected.
Oh, it was.
How were you guys able to navigate, especially for your husband?
Well, thankfully, I really predict myself. So he really is a, I would say this, he's a really sensitive person. I remember there were times when we would talk about like, there's something that was no, I beg. This is us, this is what we're doing and stuff. I remember there were days when he would even say, I don't know if you listen to this episode. He would say, no, pay attention. I just want to give you everything. Like, just you feel good and yeah, there were days like that because I really, there were days when I was not in the mood at all. But there were more days of when I didn't want to hear, you don't bring your mouth anywhere close to me. And there were days when I was just feeling all, hold me, touch me, and all of that. Yeah, it was affected, but we were able to navigate and
That's good to know. So even if it was affected, you guys found a way around it and maybe unlock new styles.
Of course. Yeah. That's when I knew that, being on top, it can be really, really. No, we've not been on top before, like before we got pregnant. But now that you're pregnant,
with your baby bump and everything.
Yeah. So I asked him, like, it's not weird, like looking at. I was like, no, like it's not. It's actually beautiful to look at. Like you're looking at. Okay, let me not put it graphic, but it's just.
Please spells TMI.
It's beautiful, really.
Okay, so what about now, post pregnancy? Would you say that your sex drive or your sex life rather, both of you, is back to normalcy?
Right now,
yeah,
not yet.
Okay.
Because our daughter is just 4 months old, and it's stuff that I could teach you. But TMI.
Please, yes, TMI.
Before we actually even resumed our sex life, it took a while because I was still adjusting to being a new mom. He was adjusting to being a new dad. I mean, the schedule was crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, having a newborn in that. There was no wake up time, no sleep. Anytime is sleep time for her, anytime is eat time for her. So it wasn't like before when we were just two of us. And he can corner me in the kitchen or I can corner him. There was nothing like that. Now, when I corner him, he's like, oh babe, okay. Like, eyes half closed. It took a while for us to resume. And now, even though we resume, it's not what it used to be.
Because now there's a.
And I'm talking about the consistency now.
Body. Okay.
Yes, the consistency, and I would even say maybe the time dedicated to the love making. Now we are conscious that even if she's sleeping, she can wake up at any time. I remember the one of them I was telling me that she can wake up at any time. Another one was saying no, she has slept deeply. When he was saying and I'm like, God, I told you. And then he had to leave me, go attend to her because his hands were cleaner. He had to go attend to her because he had to wash first and then attend to her. By the time he got back, I'd come down from cloud 9. I was already in cloud 1 back. So we now have to resume. And at that time, of course, we start climbing from one. Oh, Papa, let's just do this thing and get up. Yeah, that was what. So now, it's not as detailed or as intense as
initially when you go. In fact, it might be done foreplay all day.
You get. Yeah. Now, there's no foreplay all day. Do what you have to do. I get up from
Oh my goodness!
That's what it is now.
Okay, now that we are talking about this, let's explore it further. Talking about the lifestyle changes you both have had to make, and the one as she grows older, right? You continue to make more changes. I mean, you were talking to me the other day. Was it today? Okay, no, but it was about the phone when you were talking about how you can't visit certain places yet because noise or too much light and whatnot. That's got to be one of the changes.
I mean, now I wash my hands like every now and then. My husband does the same. I take less of cold things because I'm breastfeeding. I used to love to take a little carbonated drinks, but I can't do that so much anymore. What else? I mean, there's a lot. There's so much that my head cannot even start arranging them to tell you. Yeah. There's a lot, really. Your whole life actually changes.
Including your sleep.
Everything
your sleep hours.
You cannot spend so much time. I used to be a slow eater. I Why that's really anymore?
Because any moment your attention might be
we
needed.
call her the madam, like she's the MD CEO, and that is just what it is.
Yeah.
She dictates what is done when it is done. So she tells me when to sleep and when. So the advice that new moms usually get when they just put to bed or sleep when your baby is sleeping. In as much as it is hard, because you have some personal stuff you want to do, but that is a very good advice. So most of us don't take sleep because truly you cannot always sleep when baby is sleeping, right? But they dictate when.
Yeah.
So your life,
including this recording, she's dictating right now where we are doing. You don't want to know the gymnastics.
Your life totally changes. Totally changes everything. I mean, I could go out before with just my phone and maybe a small person. How did I come to your house today?
It felt like they were traveling. I
had a diaper bag, umbrella, this, and that, everything. It's just what it is. It is what it is.
Man,
It is what it is.
it sounds like a whole lot. But looking back now, I know there might be some bias because you met your daughter, right? But looking back now, would you say that if you had more time, maybe if you didn't get pregnant shortly after your wedding, would you say that it would have helped you acclimatize faster?
With motherhood,
Yes.
I don't know about that. I don't know if they would have ever reached a point where I would have personally said, "Oh, I'm ready, God, give me my child." I don't know. I think God in His wisdom just knows that. Okay,
just
give us now.
Yeah.
Now that you are point, yes, that become child.
Yeah. So aside from weight loss, did your and the pain that you talked about, did your body go through any other changes? Okay, your tummy.
Oh yeah, stretch marks, of course, and they're still there. That dark line that forms from the
It's
top
still
of
there?
Yeah, it's faint now,
Oh,
but
okay.
it's still there.
So with time it's
I
clear.
think, and I read that not in all cases. Sometimes they're not totally clear.
Yeah, I just even assume that it just clears up.
No.
Okay.
At least my mind is still there, and it's 4 months after now.
Yeah.
It's still there. I can still see it. I mean, before I got pregnant, I didn't even know there was any. And I don't even know when it appeared there during pregnancy. I don't know when it was there. So now it's still there, but it's fainter than it used to be. A lot of changes.
Okay.
I mean, I think my boobs are bigger. So my husband is so happy about it. My boobs are bigger, and I think my hips are bigger too. I think those two things.
They should have expanded to be able to carry. But for your stomach and the stretch marks, how do you feel about that? Because you know that for some, because of the age that we are in right now, there's a lot of what's that hashtag? Snatch, yeah, exactly, all of that. There's a lot, and it puts a lot of pressure on new moms, especially millennial moms, because this is time for millennial women to give birth, right? So yeah, how do you feel about?
I'm trying to see how I can put this as succinctly as possible.
Okay.
After I put to bed, I was conscious of the fact that I did not want my tummy to be protruding for too long. And I remember that my husband shared some tidbits with me in the bit of snatching your body back after birth and all. After a few weeks, without the strain of taking care of a newborn, myself and all of that, we had some relatives that came around to help.
Yeah.
I was just cranky, and I remember the day. In fact, there were times when I would be bathing in the bathroom, and the would come into the room, and then maybe just passes by the bathroom, and I'll turn my back. Turn my back.
Oh.
I didn't know that, he was.
Didn't notice at any point. He wasn't.
My husband he's very attentive. I remember that day, he intentionally walked into the room when I was dressing up. And then I just picked up my towel. I kind of did it casually, like I didn't want him to. And I said, "What are you hiding?" I'm not hiding anything. I said, "Put the towel down." I said, "No." I remember that day I broke into tears. I like my body. And we had a very long talk that day. And my just held me and said, this is, guys, I don't want to be saying details of stuff like this, but it was a very liberating day for me. Because he made me, or he helped me rather, to see that my body had to change. It could not stay. I mean, this body, it had housed a whole human being. I'm not a whole human being to life.
Yeah.
So it can't remain the same.
I mean, anybody that expects it.
Don't you think that your body should be worshipped now more than before? Like this, you birthed a miracle. So it's not something that you should be ashamed of. It was a very, very liberating.
Your husband should have been on this podcast actually. Should have been on this episode.
Well, I don't know.
Oh, that's very. So I mean, sometimes I imagine how it is for single moms who have to go through pregnancy and then some of them don't even have families, right?
I thought about it when my daughter was like weeks, month, and like a month. How did they do it? No, like every woman who has done this on their own by themselves. I cannot say you deserve fully because honestly it's too small.
No, they deserve. I don't even know.
No, like I doff my
yeah. Okay, so now that we're just here, I'm just going to ask if you at any point suffered or dealt with or still deal with postpartum depression. Because there are some women that have serious cases where they just burst into tears or they're just depressed. Some of them go to the extent of, feeling some type of way towards their child. Right? That's like, extreme cases. But, I actually did some research of it then when my friend was going through something. I had to understand because at that time I didn't understand. She just in the middle of the night she was in tears. So I had to do my research to find out what they need at that time, how to respond.
If I remember correctly, one of the things that because I read a lot, I still read a lot.
Yeah.
About motherhood and all that. Even after birth, I mean, your hormones are still. It will take some time to get back to what it used to be. So all of those heightened emotions I used to feel during pregnancy, you still have a good chance to feel. Yeah.
Oh.
I think they're called baby blues or something. I can't remember, but your emotions are not balanced. Just because the baby has come out, everything is now no. It will take some time for everything to balance. Yes. So I think it's when those emotions are to the extreme. Waking up in the middle of the night crying might actually not be postpartum depression. It might just be that she feels overwhelmed, just if properly managed, she might not, if properly managed, she might not become depressed at the end of the day. I think there were days when I cried though. And when there was a day, my brother-in-law was around, my son-in-law was around, my brother was around, my paternal aunt was around. I had people around me taking care of my daughter. But it just felt as though everything was on my head. And I was in our bedroom with her. And then my husband came up early that day. As he stepped into the bedroom and just started crying. What is it? I had not seen. I was just crying. It felt as though this human being is dependent on me. Like me. Whatever I do now affects her. Like, so, and he's quite good at, honestly, when I'm really angry with him, I get reminded of the fact that days when my screw gets used, he fixes it. So it doesn't might not be postpartum depression, but I think every mom still goes through that phase. It now depends on the intensity and how well it is managed. If that kind of emotion now, you don't find sort of like a relief, or someone to help you remember that look, you can do this, you can handle it or something. Because if you don't get that and you start to compound that one thought with more, you get more burden, and the whole thing will start feeling as though you're being buried alive, like really no space to breathe. So I don't know if postpartum depression is what we can call everything. But I know that every mom, I think, rather, and every mom still goes through that phase. At least maybe some few weeks after delivery. At least I think so. I mean, even now, there was a day when my daughter said, I don't know what she was crying about that day. That voice note, I sent it to my sister, and I sent it to my brother and who's her husband, and the phone said, sorry, I was laughing, I felt for you, but I was laughing. She was crying, and I sang, I'd given her a pacifier, I tried to breastfeed her. She was screaming. Of course, I joined her in crying. Let's all woman be crying. I sent my husband a voice, and I'm like, I don't know what's going on. She's crying. She's crying. I don't know what's going on.
Wow. Yeah, the joys of motherhood, right? Okay, so we're going to be wrapping up soon. Let me ask you if you miss your life before your baby was born.
Let me not lie. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, yeah. Whenever those thoughts come in, though, I couldn't tell myself that I am grateful for this life.
Yeah.
It was like when I was pregnant, and all of those, I could not eat, I could not sleep, I could not do this, I was having pains. One thing I reminded myself of was that there are people who are looking for this miracle. And in as much as it wasn't something that maybe I went out looking for per se, God gave me this gift, and I am grateful for it. Right? So I will not allow my physical limitations or whatever it is that I can call it to now hinder me from appreciating the gifts that I have. So motherhood for me is something that is a huge responsibility, no doubt, but it's a gift in itself. And whenever I can't just up and leave the house and like, oh, I'm going to TeeYarn's house, without, I'm not packing any bag, just my phone.
You have forever handbag.
I do miss that, but then I don't let it doesn't overwhelm or it does not overshadow my gifts. I don't allow it.
Okay, so before we wrap up, right? This will serve as a random pick for today. So I found some myths about motherhood online. They're going to tell me if you think it's true or not. Yeah. Okay, so this first one says bonding with your baby will happen instantly and effortlessly.
I beg. Of course not. Of course not.
Was it easy for you to bond with your own baby?
Well, it wasn't as easy as it should have been because I didn't get to see her until I didn't get to hold her until the second or third day. Second day. Yeah, until the evening of the second day. So we didn't spend as much time as I would have loved in the first few days, I guess. So it wasn't as though the love was let me try and break this down. It's not as though you don't feel anything when you see your baby. But it's like the more time you spend with them.
Yeah. Which is natural, isn't it?
The love is not as if bam.
She's a human being too. Okay.
That's how it was for me, Sha.
Okay. So this one says breastfeeding is easy because it's natural. What is this straight face here? It's not me that said it now.
I don't understand who said so. Who said so? Honestly, this is something that I believe. See, I don't know what field deals with motherhood and delivery and pregnancy. You guys ought to take this breastfeeding serious. A whole class needs to be taught about it. Honestly,
maybe I can look for an expert and bring the person on here.
A whole class needs to be taught. It is not just bring your breast out, put the nipple in the baby's mouth. It's not that simple. This thing moved me to tears though. Like I was crying in the hospital. Like I can't breastfeed my daughter. She's hungry. And they say, calm down. She needs formula, but you're trying to breastfeed. I went through a lot. Like if there was anything that could have pushed me into postpartum depression, it would have been breastfeeding.
Wow.
Yes.
Not even.
No, nothing else. It would have been breastfeeding.
Wow.
Because I wasn't lactating well enough, And it was not later that I now learned that quite a number of first-time moms go through that.
So why don't they
I don't
teach
know.
it in the?
I don't know. And some people even try to make me feel as though I'm not doing enough. Drink Ogi. Oh, Mogini, you're not drinking enough Ogi. Drink hot water. In fact, boil yourself. Breastfeeding.
Okay.
No, it's not that
Okay,
simple.
so this one says being a mother is easy because it's natural.
No. Why are you saying these things now? Come
Hey,
on.
wow. Okay. This one says, of course not. Even me. Anyway, there's one right way to be a There's one right way to be a good mother.
One right way. As in one.
Yes.
I beg. No.
Okay, this one you've answered this one already. You won't miss the life you had before becoming a parent.
I don't know for other people. I can only speak for myself. I mean, I do miss it, but not so much so that I would exchange it.
Motherhood is all you should think about after having a baby.
All the best to them. No, that's not all of who you are. I mean, you have other parts of yourself. You're still a woman, first of all, before you're even a wife,
And
before you became a mother.
Yeah.
You're a lot of things.
And there are other things in your life
Yes.
that you just need to find.
There's a lot of other things.
Parenting books will be helpful.
Definitely. But then you have to be careful with the kind of
What
information
you
that
consume.
you have to be careful.
Yeah. Who told this one? Good mothers can do it all on their own.
Yes, now. Man, and then you better collect help, ask for help, receive help. Like, don't be afraid to ask for help. Don't feel what's that word now? Don't feel inadequate. Like, if I ask for help, they'll think I'm lazy.
I'm a bad
or they'll think I'm a
bad
bad mom. Okay, so here's the thing. In our society, it could, like, that feeling can be valid. Like, people often judge women based on, how well they're able to juggle a lot of things and see. Last.
If you can't,
I beg. If you can't, you cannot ask for help. Please.
Okay, so this last one says the relationship with your partner will be better than ever. This is a bit tricky.
Parenthood.
Yes.
It depends on how you navigate. Let me tell you, I'll tell you one truth for free. We had more fights after the birth of our daughter than before. Like, in this space of these 4 months, we've had more fights than. And when I say more, I'm not really talking about in terms of numbers. As in deep fights. Well, that we've fought about, or we've had disagreement over the littlest things and the biggest things.
Okay. But that's pertaining to the child or just
just between us.
Oh really?
Because babe, there's a lot of tension. He's going through changes on his own. I'm going through changes. We're both going through changes. So it's like, I'm dealing with this, don't add this one to me. So it takes a lot. It takes a lot, really. Oh boy, it takes a lot. But then I found out that, see, thank God for my husband, really. God bless you. He has a way of calming situations down. When me, I'm all, he's angry too, but let's work this out, So, well, it can make it better if you allow it.
I like that. If you allow it,
it can make it better.
And I just need to say this here from something I just said now. I know that society is
us,
right?
We are society.
We usually pay a lot of attention on moms, right, and relegate the dads to the background. But just as she said, dads are going through changes too, right? Yes, we know that we are the ones that carry the life, right? But the things that even our partners are doing in the background is a lot as well. So let's be more inclusive. I'm talking to us women because I know we like the attention, but let's be more inclusive and acknowledge our partners where and when due, right? That would help them feel more seen. I think. An interesting and insightful conversation. Thank you so much.
I think I'm more mature now than I'm.
Wow.
I just
Look at you dropping words of wisdom.
Before I would be saying also that I've been, but now I'm just more.
Yeah.
Maybe because you're taking on my energy.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. But overall though, you would say that that statement, joys of motherhood, is actually valid.
It is valid.